Welcome to The Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
So, what happens when the life you've worked so hard to build becomes the very thing that's silently breaking your spirit? Welcome to the Abundance Journey, where alignment meets action. I'm your host, Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador, and I help heart-centered, high-achieving women activate abundance by aligning with their soul's purpose so they show up fully, courageously, and joyfully. Well, today's guest is somebody who truly embodies that transformation. Tammara Nicole Garner is a former attorney who checked every traditional box of success until she realized that what looked good on paper was costing her something much more precious: her soul's alignment. That awakening sparked a courageous reinvention that led her to become a personal development author, speaker, and soul-aligned entrepreneur. Tammara Nicole's journey revealed her transformational framework, the 12 Guiding Stars system, a beautiful blend of strategic insight and intuitive wisdom. Now she guides women, especially in midlife, to rediscover who they really are beneath all the roles they've been conditioned to play, and to design lives that reflect clarity, courage, and deep personal meaning. If you've ever felt like your success is secretly suffocating your spirit, well, this conversation is your invitation to breathe again. Tammara Nicole, I am so thrilled to have you here on the Abundance Journey. I've been looking forward to this for ages.
Oh, thanks, Elaine. I'm happy to be here too.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun because I really love your story. I love what you've been able to create and the insights that you've shared. Now, before we really get into it, because I'm ready to dive right in, I want to make sure that we connect our energy so that you and I and the entire audience, we're all connected with the God of your understanding. That way, as we share the intention, we actually achieve that experience. We receive that incredible blessing. So there's two things we're going to do to connect our energy. First, we're going to take 3 long, slow, deep breaths together. And as we breathe in through the nose, we'll think the words, I am. And as we breathe out through the mouth, we will think the word consciousness. And I'll remind you when we get to that point. Then I'm going to share an intention. I always point at my heart when I say intention, because it's almost like we're typing into a spiritual GPS. This is where we choose to go and how we choose to feel. And it's not like we have a script. You and I are just kind of winging it. I have a few questions to ask you, but we're just going to have fun playing together. And by having this intention really clear, that's where we're going. We're creating this new reality together. Now, it can be a little challenging because after I share the intention, we're going to hold it in total silence for 78 seconds. I think I'm the only show that does this. And frankly, it's really hard. It's so easy to be distracted over 78 seconds. There are 2 techniques that I've discovered that really help me hold that focus, which is really important. You got to hold that focus so that the divine, the God of your understanding, can lock into that higher vibration and you experience the transformation through this conversation, whether you're listening or you're an active participant. Either way. So there's 2 techniques that I find really work. The first thing is I'll pick 2 or 3 words out of the intention that just feel uplifting and expansive. It's that high vibration that I'm choosing to adopt as my new reality. And I'll repeat those 2 or 3 words over and over again in my mind during the 78 seconds. And then I notice what's happening with my body, because my body will get signals. Maybe some discomfort in one area moves to a different area, or I get goosebumps, or an image suddenly drops in. Anything like that is just a sign that the divine has received the message and they are ready to play. So, speaking of ready to play, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with our 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. In love and light, we are so happy and grateful that we release outdated conditioning, choosing to align with our soul's true desires. So we clarify what matters most across all areas of life, taking inspired action towards a future that reflects who we truly are: authentic, abundant, intentional, and free. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, that was cool. What was your experience like, Tammara Nicole?
Just really feeling grounded. I think that's a great way to start a conversation, rather than just start the conversation and run into it, and just pause for a moment and really just feel grounded in the space. Yeah, I just kind of sunk in, settled in, and now I feel very prepared to be open and have the discussion.
I love it. I love it. I was really focusing in on intentional and free. And I felt it so strongly. I just felt these waves of love flowing over all of us. It was just so nourishing and so refreshing and so welcoming. It's like you can't get it wrong. You are love, the embodiment of love, and you're here to experience and receive and give love with every breath. So yeah, I am really stoked to have this conversation because I love your background. I love your passion and your commitment and where you're coming from. Tell us a little bit about your journey, because going from a high-powered lawyer to all of a sudden 180 degrees, what got you started with this, and why are you so passionate about helping others receive this same transformation?
Yeah, so my journey really starts over 2 decades ago. So I've been practicing manifestation since that time. And it really starts with leaving a marriage that was not working out well for me, and spent some time in a safe house with my 2 little kids. And if you know anything about staying in a safe house, they have bars on the windows. And and that's to keep the danger out, right? But I was having this sinking realization that I was in prison inside. So I was putting my kids to bed and I was looking at that and I was like realizing that that was the concrete manifestation of my own fear. And I made the conscious choice that I was no longer going to be afraid. And the next morning I checked us out. And the woman at the desk was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I said, "What's the difference? I'm in prison out there or in prison in here." And it was really my beginning of understanding how much my mindset played into my reality. Even though I hadn't been formally introduced to manifestation yet, I was starting to click into that idea. And I did start to get exposed to manifestation, and I wanted to, ever since I was in high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. A strange thing for a child to say they want to be when they grow up, but that's what I wanted. And I pursued that like with a vengeance. Like, I am going to prove that I can do this. And I dedicated myself to it and did accomplish that despite all of the challenges along the way, raising two boys, working full time and going to school. I accomplished it, right? And I say that not to necessarily impress anybody, other than to impress how wrapped up my identity is in that experience, right? I am a lawyer, right? Like, that's the suit I put on. And so once the novelty of achieving that, like I accomplished this lifelong goal, started to just get integrated into my normal everyday life, that's when I started to see that, maybe I'm not so happy doing this, because it's really a lot of work, a lot of hustle, and you don't have a lot of time for yourself. You don't have a lot of the time for the things that you decide matter most to you, because you're kind of always turned on. And that's when I started to sort of shift and break. I actually had a health issue where I was working 14-hour days. It was at the start of COVID, and I was in commercial real estate. And so we had a lot of emergency orders that we had to review, and, just a lot getting piled on. And I was trying to move. My father had a heart attack, and it was just like the world was collapsing in on me, and I wound up in the ER. And I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I am never going to make my job more important than my health again. And that, even though I was starting to see that, it took me a few years until I started writing a book, which we're going to talk about the book, but I started writing a book, and I felt invited by the universe, like, you need to share your story with other people who are going through similar experiences of dedicating themselves to building what appears to be a quote unquote successful life, and having this epiphany that my success is not externally focused. This idea of externally focusing my success is really just burning me out. I'm really just tired. I really just want a nap.
It's one of the definitions of abundance for me is I get to take a nap in the afternoon. It's like total luxury.
Yes.
Absolutely. Bring on the naps, baby.
I started writing the book, but I wasn't prioritizing it, right? Until I got fired from my day job. It was like the universe saying, go forth, little lady, you're ready to do this. You're ready to fly. And I'm not sure I would have fully embraced it had that not happened. And so I received it as a gift. Losing my job, I received that as a gift. And I don't even say so much I was fired as much as I say I was liberated. The day I got liberated from my job, I came home and the hard copy proof of my book was sitting on the doorstep from the publisher. And I said, ha ha ha, universe. Okay, we're doing this. It's a shift for me to fully embody and embrace that I am no longer that. And if you're watching this in the video, you see my law degree still on the wall behind me. I honor where I have been. But Michelle Obama said this in her book, Becoming. about you don't have to pick one thing to be when you grow up. You're allowed to be many different things. You know, you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to only be in this box. You can be in that box for a while and say, I'm ready for a different experience. So I honor where I have been, and now I'm shifting into this new way of being where abundance is more and success is more about my internal alignment and being okay with me inside, no matter what anybody else thinks is going on the outside. So that was a huge shift for me. Huge, huge shift when you go from being, you know, when you say things like, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, it's like there's this idea that people are going to be very impressed with that. But you know what? Who cares? I mean, really, who cares?
Says the lawyer.
Because we value in our society the notion of hard work,
yes,
and being productive, and so we prize that. But you know what, Elaine, I never want to be applauded for working hard again. I want my life to be easy.
Yeah. You said so much that I absolutely love, and I resonate. I'm taking notes on what you said because it was really powerful. There were so many gems just in that one response that you gave to that question. Super powerful. So I'm going to ask you to elaborate a little bit more because you already kind of started to give this to me. I always ask every single guest, given the work that you're doing, and especially the background that you have, how do you define abundance?
Yeah, this is a major, major shift for me, defining abundance as, I think gratitude is the emotional state of abundance. And it's all internal about, I'm okay right here where I am. I don't have to chase after anything else in my external world to be validated. I'm in alignment with my divine purpose on the inside, and that, to me, is abundance. That is the definition of the new success in my mind.
I love that. And I could not agree with you more because it all happens inside first.
Yeah.
And I loved what you were talking about, how you had this concrete identity that being a lawyer was it for you. This was like the thing. And whenever we put that kind of a shell around ourselves, that identity, which is truly a mindset, and that mindset comes with a few unfortunate little side effects, like you're going to work your tail off 24/7, 365, right? Which kind of stinks. And so you don't have that work-life balance, and you don't have an opportunity to play with your kids and really be there, or be there for yourself. You're kind of pulled into that external world all the time. So I really commend you for going more inside. And obviously, you've worked with a lot of people because you've been at this for a bit, and you really understand how manifestation is working. What are some of the common symptoms that you've noticed with the people that you work with that kind of shows them that that you can see that they are ready? Like, what are they showing up with? That's the tipping point.
Yeah, I think the overarching theme is that when the little peepers start to open, you start to realize that I have all of the things. I should be happy, but I'm not. But I'm not. And so it's that realization, and you might feel it happening before you really know what to do with it. It's just this feeling of, okay, I'm going through all the motions, I'm doing all the things, but it's not really jazzing me up. It's not really making my heart sing. I think that's the overarching problem, but you might see that manifest as like burnout because we live in hustle culture. So always, instead of receiving abundance, we're always chasing after it. So you might burn yourself out. You might have a lack of clarity or direction. Like, I know I feel this way, but I don't know what to do to resolve that feeling, because my program does center on helping you get that clarity. I mean, that is really the foundational piece of my system, is understanding what you really want and desire, which may sound surface level silly, but a lot of people don't know what they want because they've been so conditioned, as I was, guilty, as charged, that, we get seduced by our culture, our society, our parents, the religion that we were raised in, so much so that we don't realize what we truly want if we shut off all of that noise. So you might have a little bit of lack of clarity, lack of direction, or you may just be going through a major life transition. Mm-hmm. Now, which I take as an invitation from the universe. It's not like, oh, life just got crappy. This is an invitation, because sometimes we are like the frog in the boiling water. And until we crank up the heat, we're not encouraged to jump out of the pot. So, we're creatures of habit, creatures of comfort. Our nervous system likes to feel safe. So we'll stay. I'm sure many of your listeners have had this experience of overstaying experiences, overstaying relationships, overstaying a job, knowing it's not right for them. And then something will have to shift. The universe will kick you out of that nest, as it did for me.
Yeah, I really want to, sorry to interrupt you here, but I want to share a little story because it totally aligns with what you were saying here. Now, I was blessed on New Year's Day 2005 to have a stroke. And I always say blessed because during my stroke, I got to have a conversation with my higher power. And I got a complete download about how everything works, why we're alive, how we can live our best life, and what happens next after this life. It's a graduation. It's not an ending. So, but during the conversation, at one point, they asked me a rhetorical question. They said, okay, you are love. The air you're breathing is love. The chair you're sitting in is love. The God of your understanding is love. Everything is love. So, how do you expand love when everything already is love? I was like, you don't know. I sure don't know.
Right? Like, why are you asking me?
Right. Yeah. Seriously? You expect me to have an answer? And they said, well, we decided to create human beings who do not think that everything is love. You experience contrast, the difference between what is wanted and what is not wanted. And that friction gives you the superpower of choice. You either step back in fear, trying to stay comfortable with everything you know and understand and control, or you step forward with grateful curiosity, not knowing what's going to happen. But every time you do, you open yourself up for more love. And you automatically create more love. Being human, being physical, is the expansion joint of the divine. This is how we grow. And we don't make it easy on you. Sorry, you get better and better at this whole love thing. So we deliberately throw little things in your way that tip you off center. So instead of feeling aligned, all of a sudden you're out of alignment and you're in that pot and the water's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And you finally decide, I'm out of alignment. Time to get back into alignment. So it's not the being in alignment all the time that we really want from you. What we want from you is to notice that you're out of alignment and then get back into alignment, because that change, that shift is what expands love, expands God, expands the divine. I was like, oh my, no wonder life is kind of a roller coaster.
It is. Yeah. I say in my book, adversity is a gift, because it is through experiencing challenges that we grow. And that's that's the brief. I mean, that's the reason the soul incarnates, is to expand, evolve, and grow. And I don't want to say that we're lazy as human beings, but we need a little pressure put on us sometimes because of this nervous system dysregulation when we start to walk towards something that feels unknown or risky or untested, right? But oftentimes when we do make that shift, it might be bumpy, might be smooth, might be a little bumpy, but once we get through it, it's like, why was I ever there?
So true. So true. So and this really speaks to my next question. I find that there's always something we have to be willing to change inside before we get that external shift. Like we said, it's an inside job first and foremost.
Yeah.
What have you noticed your clients have to be willing to change inside to experience the transformation they crave?
Well, first and foremost, what we've really been discussing is that your soul's desires are not outside of you.
Yeah.
They're inside of you. And so through my system, whether you read my book or take my course or coach with me, our number one mission is to get you to listen to that voice inside. And again, it may sound surface level silly, like, well, can't you do that? No. We've been trained to be so disassociated from the voice inside. So I work people through some journal prompts, some exercises, some meditative experiences to help them quiet that monkey mind, quiet the voice that says, you need to be scanning your environment for your validation and to go inside and find what it is that the soul really desires. That's number one. I think the other huge mindset shift is to stop scanning your environment for problems to fix. Because what I think most of us, again, myself included, so I'm not picking on anybody, but we get introduced to the concept of manifestation because there's something in our life that we just don't like and we want to fix it. And if we work through that process, you may very well fix it. The first thing I manifested was a raise. Took me 6 months. I did it, right? But then you kind of get addicted to this. Okay, what else can I fix? What else can I fix? Or you become very reactionary to your environment, and you're kind of misusing manifestation, in my opinion, for these quick fixes instead of being very intentional in, okay, whatever's going on out here, I'm going to set that to the side. Let me go inside and discover what my soul really wants to experience and build my life outside around what I truly desire. And then you become an intentional co-creator instead of just reacting to whatever's going on around you.
And that's exactly what's wanted, is that we are co-creators with the divine. That was the other thing that I was shown very clearly. Often we think, oh, I'm this lowly little ant and, God is this big something up there. Maybe they pay attention to me. No. You are in lockstep with the God of your understanding. You are side by side, BFFs, finish each other's sentences, laugh at each other's jokes, tease each other unmercifully. That is the actual relationship you have with the divine. And until you step into fulfilling your true role, which you're absolutely right, listen to what your soul craves. Listen to what your soul is eager to experience, because it's here to have it all. And you really can have it all. Now, obviously, that's a big nut to crack. And I am definitely going to get a copy of your book. I can't wait to read it. And I'd love for you to spill the tea just a little bit. What are one or two small little steps that we could take that will get us going on the right track? I know you mentioned listening and tuning in.
Yes.
What else can we do?
Yeah, listening to your soul. I mean, that is step one, and frankly, the most critical step. But if that's all you ever do, then you're never going to build a life that is in alignment with that. So, but listening is the first step. The next thing that I encourage people to do is I work with them to establish what I call guiding stars, kind of your North Star in 12 major categories of your life. We're going to create a vision around what the soul really desires as to what your quote unquote ideal perfect life looks like. Then I want you to take inventory. This is not to judge yourself like, oh my God, I'm 55 and I haven't accomplished this yet or whatever. It's just a neutral, objective observance of your life. How far out of alignment am I? Okay, here's my vision. And some things you may be very close. Some things you may be spot on. I redo this exercise for myself once a year. And some areas, like my marriage, is great. I feel spot on with that. I'm still working on my career. And that's fine, because if you had everything figured out, you would be dead. That's
so true. So true. You're not here to get it done. I always say life is like the ultimate infomercial. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. right? And there's more for you to learn, and there's more for you
Yes.
to give. There's more for you to grow. There's always more. And you have been so incredibly generous. Could you tell us a bit about the gift that you offered for the audience?
Yeah, sure. If people pop on over to my website, TammaraGardner.com, and Tammara has two M's, TammaraGardner, you will find on there access to a free meditation, a guided meditation that will help you get in touch with your soul's true desires. So if you're struggling with this process, struggling with quieting your mind, you can grab that meditation and do this exercise, do a little journaling afterwards, and get yourself on the right track.
Love it. Love it. I'm definitely going to get a copy because, boy, we all have busy minds. We all do. And it's sometimes trying to get that to just kind of chill a little bit. It really helps a lot. So, one of the things we love to do here at the Abundance Journey, we always turn the tables on our guests because we know that when we give is when we truly receive the most. So, what is something that we can do to support you?
Yeah, I think the number one thing you can do, honestly, is go to my website and get that meditation, because I want you to have that gift for yourself. And as we all elevate our consciousness, we all positively impact the world for everyone. So it is a gift to yourself and to the collective consciousness when you get yourself back into alignment with the divine.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. I'm going to have to listen to this a few times because there was so much here. I have several pages of notes, and now I have to pick just one thing for the Activate Abundance segment. Oh, only one. Well, you've made life interesting and incredibly enlightening. This was really a
Thank you.
wonderful experience. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. We'll have to
Thank
have you
you,
back again
Elaine.
soon.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, stick around because we're going to activate abundance in just a moment. Oh my gosh, Tammara Nicole is amazing. Where does she come up with this stuff? I mean, honestly, I was going through all my notes, and I'm just blown away by all the things she said. She talked about realizing that she was in prison inside herself because of her fear. She was allowing fear to imprison her. I mean, how many of us are in that boat? I'm sorry, we all go through that. That was just brilliant that you can change your mindset because your mindset creates your reality. Loved that. Absolutely. Honor where you have been. That's why she has her diploma for becoming a lawyer behind her. And it's like why I have my sign here, thankful, grateful, and truly blessed. Yeah, honor where you've been, honor where you're from. The journey is the abundance, really. And all about the internal success. Instead of valuing the idea of hard work, value the idea that life can be easy and joyful and fun. I'm reading through all of the key highlights because I was really having a tough time picking just one. So I'm sharing it with you why this was so hard for me to pick just one. That adversity is a gift that inspires you to grow. Loved that. Absolutely right. That the nervous system is deregulated, it's discombobulated. We have disconnected our minds from our bodies. And there's a lot of this conflict going on between the two of them. And it's no wonder that we've kind of tapped out of the body. It's like, I'm not going to pay any attention to you anymore because I got to focus. I'll get back to you later when I have time. Shut up and go take a nap. Doesn't work that way, sadly. It doesn't work that way. And when she said that sometimes we're so good at manifesting that we start looking for problems to fix because it's fun, right? You're good at it. So you just want to fix everything all the time. Oh, step one is gratitude. Hugely grateful to Tammara Nicole because she brought in so many sweet, juicy, awesome things that I'm struggling picking just one. Step two, acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you. The one that really kind of smacked me upside the head Full confession time. Stop looking for problems just because it's easy for you to solve them. She caught me red-handed. Darn it. Step 3, appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Well, when you stop constantly on the outside trying to fix all the stuff just because you can, just because it's fun for you, and instead you go inside and go, okay, well, that may be fun and easy, but that's because that's so familiar to me. Is that truly what my soul craves? Is that really the growth my soul wants? So what this does is it gets me to reconnect and go back inside to get that insight, to be the fullness of who I truly am instead of that external superficial stuff all the time. Oh man, did she hit me where I live. Step 4 is to activate the abundance. This is where you take a concept and you turn it into practical, tangible, functional, real life. And I've found 3 different ways that you can activate abundance. The first way, schedule time to get it done. And I count journaling and meditation in this category because if you don't make time for it, you're not going to do it. You're busy. But journaling is so powerful because it takes all that mess that's going on in your mind and it allows you to write it down on paper. And then you can get an objective perspective on what's going on. Then you can see, am I just chasing problems because I'm having fun with them? Or am I truly tapping in to what my soul is craving? It really gets you that level of awareness and insight that was missing before. Powerful stuff. Schedule time to get it done. Second way is to create a physical trigger like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe as a reminder it's not about the problems I see. It's about the inner experience that my soul craves. So what is the message here? Every time I see a quote problem, unquote, because from my perspective, I've decided it's a problem. Might not be. The divine created it for a reason, not just for me. So I can go back inside and I can ask myself, what is the blessing in this experience? What is the blessing in this moment? How can I be love and fully present for everyone here so that we all experience a glorious transformation? That's just the physical trigger reminder. I don't have to focus on the problem. I can focus on my inner intention. The third way to activate abundance is to work with what I call an abundance buddy. Most people call them accountability buddies, but I'm all about the abundance. This is somebody who gets you, who loves you, who appreciates you, and you declare, this is a new behavior I'm going to take. I'm not going to fixate on the problems anymore. I know they're there. Yeah. And sure, I could fix them for everybody. But instead of doing that compulsively and with that knee-jerk response, I'm going to go inside. I'm going to really look at what my soul craves in this moment and look at the message that's hidden in this situation for me. And if I forget to do that, would you please call me on it? Because it's my tendency to just jump in and fix stuff. Because it's fun and it's easy and why not? But I'm getting better about going inside. So help me go inside. It really helps because you're kind of on automatic pilot and learning how to change old behaviors and adopt new things that truly serve your soul is a really, really powerful space for you to be in. All right, so step 1 was gratitude. Step 2, acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you. Step 3, appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Step 4, activate it. And step 5, celebrate your progress. Like I said, life is the ultimate infomercial. There's always more. There's always more opportunity. There's always more love. There's always more blessings. There's always more abundance. And remember, you are the most abundant experience you're looking for. And it's all inside you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time for the Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.